Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is Leyah. I will be guiding you through our presentation today. I'm joined by our lovely group members, Hannah and Loren. Without further ado, let's get started.
The first thing to consider is what pregnancy discrimination actually is. Pregnancy discrimination is a form of employment discrimination that unfairly targets expectant mothers or women planning to become pregnant. This occurs when employers fire, refuse to hire, or treat women unfavorably due to pregnancy. This can include demotions, denial of promotions, pay cuts, or exclusion from key projects. Women often face subtle discrimination, such as being passed over for opportunities due to assumptions about being unable to balance work and family. Discrimination can severely impact women's careers, financial stability, and well-being. Some employers refuse to hire or promote pregnant women, assuming they will be less committed or productive. Others may terminate women after pregnancy disclosure or create a hostile environment that pushes them to resign. These practices reinforce systemic gender inequalities and limit career advancement of women. Pregnant employees may also experience reduced hours, pay cuts, or reassignment to undesirable tasks, often under the guise of efficiency or safety. In extreme cases, women are forced to choose between their health and job security. Addressing pregnancy discrimination requires stronger enforcement of legal protections, supportive workplace policies, and a shift in workplace culture to promote inclusivity and equity.
Thank you so much for talking about pregnancy discrimination and what it looks like. Now let's get into depth with the history. By the 1970s, women made up 45% of workforce, but due to the increasing insurance costs, health insurance companies began to exclude pregnancies from their policy. As a result of this, it was taken to the Supreme Court. Later, it was ruled employers must include pregnancy-related issues in their policy. Now, according to article Morning Consult, pregnant women continue to face discrimination in hiring, promotion, and even during maternity leave. Between the year of 1997 to 2011, the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission saw a 50% increase in the numbers of pregnancy discrimination charges filed. This number of charges filed hasn't changed very much since. And no federal law guarantees pregnant women the right to reasonable accommodations or protection from discrimination in the workforce. Overall, the PDA Act of 1978 talks about overt and covert acts. So, now, let's talk about legal protections.
Over the years, several legal protections have been put in place to protect women and try to prevent and discourage pregnancy discrimination in the workplace. First, we have the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. This requires covered employers to provide reasonable accommodation for pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions. These accommodations could include modifying work duties, providing additional breaks, or offering flexible work hours, anything that helps pregnant women safely perform their job without facing discrimination. Next is the Pregnancy Discrimination Act of 1978. This law amended Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to explicitly prohibit discrimination on the basis of pregnancy. Under this act, employers can't refuse to hire, fire, or demote an employee simply because she is pregnant or may become pregnant. Finally, we have the PUMP Act of 2022, which stands for Providing Urgent Maternal Protections for Nursing Mothers. This law builds on the Break Time for Nursing Mothers Law of 2010, which requires employers to provide reasonable break time and a private non-bathroom space for lactating women to pump milk during the workday. This is crucial for supporting the health and well-being of both mother and baby. When facing pregnancy discrimination in the workplace, it's crucial to take immediate action in order to protect one's rights. The first step is to document any incidents of discriminatory behavior in detail. This includes noting dates, times, descriptions of the events, and any potential witnesses who may have observed or been aware of the discrimination. Such documentation can be invaluable if there is need to file a complaint or pursue legal action later on. After documenting the incidents, the next step is to report the issue to the company's Human Resources Department. Most organizations have established procedures for addressing discrimination, and HR should be notified of the problem. However, if the issue is not resolved internally or if there is a fear of retaliation, it's important to understand the legal rights in place. Familiarity with federal and state laws, such as the Pregnancy Discrimination Act and the Family and Medical Leave Act, helps employees assert their rights with confidence. In cases where internal resolutions fail, seeking legal counsel becomes essential. Attorneys specializing in workplace discrimination can guide employees through the process, whether it involves filing a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, or pursuing a lawsuit.
Let's talk lawsuits. One recent lawsuit is Northwoods Nursing Home. A nursing assistant needed a doctor's note stating that she could work with no restrictions. She was unable to provide said document, therefore she was terminated. Secondly, HCS medical staffing. An employee was terminated by her employers while she was in a hospital after giving birth via C-section. Thirdly, Hudson funding. An employee was terminated from her job at Hudson Funding after taking a leave of absence for childbirth, and when returning, she used a breast pump while on break. Fourth, 2015 Supreme Court case. UPS refused to accommodate Peggy, an employee, during her pregnancy by giving her light duty work, despite offering similar accommodations to other employees. To elaborate, the article, Why Pregnancy Discrimination Still Matters by Forbes, addresses an ongoing issue when it comes to this type of pregnancy discrimination. The article talks about the different forms of pregnancy or mistreatment. Overall, it highlights the approaches that need to be taken into place for these hostile environments. For instance, what one might call the classic discrimination, as in you inform your boss on Monday that you are pregnant and you are fired on Tuesday. This method of overt pregnancy discrimination, since it includes firing an employee after they informed you that they are pregnant. Now, covert discrimination is less visible. The employees didn't get fired from their job, but it creates a dangerous environment that hinders fear and make employees feel unwanted, which is why the United States, approximately 1 in 5 women report experiencing pregnancy discrimination in the workplace.
Pregnancy discrimination can have significant and lasting effects on employees, both professionally and personally. Financially, workers who face discrimination may lose wages, benefits, or even their jobs, which can lead to long-term economic hardship. In addition to financial consequences, career growth is often stunted, as pregnant women may miss out on promotions, raises, or opportunities for advancement. On a personal level, the emotional toll of pregnancy discrimination can be severe, leading to stress, anxiety, and a sense of isolation. This can affect a woman's overall well-being, job satisfaction, and mental health. When pregnancy discrimination is allowed to persist, it also has a broader impact on workplace culture. It fosters an environment of inequality and exclusion, which can discourage other employees from speaking out or considering parenthood for fear of facing similar treatment. To prevent pregnancy discrimination, employers must implement clear, comprehensive policies and offer training for staff on pregnancy rights and accommodations. These measures can help create a more supportive and inclusive workplace. Providing reasonable accommodations such as flexible hours, modified duties, or additional breaks is essential for ensuring pregnant women are treated fairly and can continue to contribute to their work without unnecessary obstacles. Finally, promoting open communication is crucial. Employees should feel comfortable discussing their needs related to pregnancy without fear of retaliation or negative consequences, fostering an environment of trust and support for all workers.
Now, we will review trends in pregnancy discrimination in the workplace based on a survey conducted by the Bipartisan Policy Center and Morning Consult. As you can see in the first graph on the left side, nearly 1 in 4 mothers, 23%, have considered leaving their jobs due to a lack of accommodation or fear of discrimination. Younger mothers are most affected, with 32% of women aged 18 to 34 have considered leaving, and 26% of millennials have faced similar concerns. Now, on the right side, on the percentage of women experiencing pregnancy discrimination in the workplace, 1 in 5 mothers, that equals 20%, have experienced pregnancy discrimination at the workplace. Overall, 8% of all women have faced pregnancy-related workplace discrimination, and younger employed women are more likely to experience this than older, retired women. That includes 13% of millennial women, 9% of Gen X women, 5% of baby boomer women, and 10% of currently employed women report experiencing this type of discrimination. Now, on the bottom graph, you can also see that people are witnessing this pregnancy discrimination in the workplace, with 12% of all adults have seen it happen, 20% of parents say they've witnessed it, and younger adults are nearly twice as likely to notice it as older adults. Now, 15% of current workers versus 7% of retired individuals, and 18% of millennials compared to 9% of Gen Xers and 7% of baby boomers. Discrimination has definitely increased, with EOC filings jumping by 67% from 2016 to 2020, with Black women and low-wage workers disproportionately affected. Moving on to the next slide, we'll be talking about a lack of paid parental leave in the United States. According to OECD, the US is the only country among 41 nations that does not have government-mandated paid parental leave. Other countries offer varying lengths of paid leave, with Estonia offering the most at over a year and a half. Maternity leave dominates the paid leave available in 20 of the 41 countries, and now also going over paternity leave is available in 34 countries, but the duration is generally shorter, about 2 weeks or less, which is surprising because there is a higher number of countries that are open to paternity leave than maternity leave. Some countries like Japan and Korea offer more generous leave for fathers, for example 30 weeks in Japan, and paid leave is classified into 3 main sections: maternity leave, which is for mothers, paternity leave for fathers, parental leave for either parent after maternity or paternity leave. Some US states, for example California, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, and District of Columbia, have state-mandated paid leave programs, but a lot of the other states do not. And a bill in the US House of Representatives recently passed that a bill that would provide 12 weeks of paid leave for federal workers. Now, moving on from the lawsuits to more personal experiences, pregnancy discrimination is more prevalent and closer to us than we might think. It affects individuals regardless of position, qualifications, or location, whether that is in the New York State, Kentucky, South Carolina, or anywhere across the United States. And this issue continues to persist. Here are 3 prominent women who have shared their stories in a New York Times article, along with others who have spoken out about their experiences with pregnancy discrimination. Starting with Atisha Woolbright, a Walmart employee, she stated that when she got pregnant, Atisha Woolbright asked to stop lifting heavy trays at Walmart, and her boss said she had seen Demi Moore do a flip on TV when she was nearly full term. So being pregnant was no excuse, and Ms. Woolbright kept lifting until she got hurt. Rachel Mountis in the middle picture was a top saleswoman at Merck, and she was laid off 3 weeks before giving birth. Now, Erin Murphy, who was a senior employee at Glencore, who is a commodity trading and mining company, was belittled and told to pump milk in a supply closet cluttered with recycling bins. Other women who have also spoken out are Armanda Legos, worker for an armored truck company in New York, Lindy Treasure, police officer in Kentucky, Natasha, who was the highest ranking account executive in South Carolina, and Tasha Murrow, who was working at a national logistic company in Tennessee. Takira Woods, who was a family service worker in New Jersey. And that brings us to the end of all the testimonies and our discussion. This story shed light on the real and ongoing challenges that pregnant workers continue to face and the urgent need for better workplace conditions surrounding us women. So what's next? I'll reinforce the key points that my teammates have covered before. First of all, enforcing the laws like the WFA and the POMP Act. Also inform workers and the general public, make sure everyone knows their own rights, and obviously pass more state laws to expand protections where they're still lacking, and support these bills and laws that are being put out there, and support other parental policies, not just surrounding pregnant women, beyond pregnancy, like there other important issues that we need to discuss, which are affordable childcare and paid leave, not just for mothers, but as well as for fathers. Now, thanks for listening, and hopefully our presentation has brought us at least one step closer to combating the issue that is pregnancy discrimination.
And that brings us to our source list. This has been our presentation on pregnancy discrimination in the workplace. The topic is vast with a lot of different elements such as what it is, legal protections, prevention, consequences, and real-life examples. We hope you've learned something, we hope you enjoyed, and we appreciate your time.